I went into rationalisation, defensive mode, and type thing, and we had falling out number 2, which was on the phone, where you'd basically said, well, if this is the way you want to progress, you're on your own. I remember the last word you said to me, and I said, well, that's fine, and hung up, and that was it. So how was that playing out for you?
Yeah, so I suppose it was really, I felt really ripped off, actually. I felt really ripped off that you sort of had the clinic and I'd sort of, done all bits and pieces, or only a couple of trips out to Curl and to sort of help you out. But then you took off. But I just still felt that that there was the follow-up. I was like, well, hang on, you just told me so many times about you've got to have your AA meetings or the
NA and CMA, whatever any
all
AA
the
was going to do.
Yeah. But it wasn't happening over there, and I knew there was a bit more distance between you and Steve because he was over here and you were over in Perth. And I suppose I was also concerned that there was another sister over there who is a full-time working mother, and she would probably go above and beyond more than I would for everybody in this world. And so I was really worried about the effect it was going to have on her. So that was leading in. But I just felt like you were still spinning bullshit. I really did. And I couldn't put my finger on it because David wouldn't have let me finish talking, and his sentences weren't finishing themselves anyway. So we would be like, and I'd be like, but hang on, that doesn't make sense. What are you doing that for? Would you reckon you would do that? I mean, I wasn't an angry, bitchy person. It was just like, come on, dude, come on. You know that there's whatever you're saying, it's just bullshit. That's never going to happen. But, it got to a point where I suppose I wasn't going to be fluffy and friendly anymore. It was like, well, if you are going to go that direction, I'm not going to go with you. And I remember being called a troublemaker. Dave called me a troublemaker. And I think what that meant is, in his mind, I was creating issues. I wasn't creating issues with my mother and my father and my sister. I was creating issues with my brother's mind. And there was absolutely no way he was in a space where you were going to be taking any more direction or advice, which is not what I was giving. What I was asking you was to revisit the ideas that you had actually come up with. And also, that information that David threw out there in the world was information that none of my family, his immediate nearest and dearest, had even processed yet. We had not had a discussion with David, and we still haven't. They may not happen for years. That'll be happening in our time. About the changing of what I thought was my childhood has completely changed because of the childhood that my brother had. My sister is the same, and my parents are the same. So all of us almost fell into a heap of failure. We all felt.
So preface that. So what we're talking about is sexual abuse.
Sorry, yeah.
But I had a conversation with the family and told them that it had occurred, but we hadn't had a round table about it, and that was something that certainly I wanted to move from personally, and that sort of thing. But then decided to share that information fairly quickly after that, at the end of the rehabilitation process, publicly. So we'd had, I'd pre-warned you and had spoken, and certainly had small conversations with the two sisters, had pre-warned mum and dad, but decided to run with it because I thought that would be, not that I thought, sorry, I don't think of anything, it was something that I wanted to share as part of my story, and I certainly wanted to keep moving forward with recovery now. That was where I was at. But so I can only imagine, again, talking to you, I can only imagine the feelings that everyone had, and like, why is he so close to coming out of this facility, moving into what he should be doing is just focusing on himself, not worrying about some sort of vehicle that's going to help others. But I suppose we've arrived at a point now that sometimes you have to take those risks. And
you do.
I've taken a big risk. I've certainly talked about harm minimisation. I've talked about the risks that I've taken. And at this stage now, here we are, 60 odd days later. The risk is potentially going to pay off, but that doesn't make the risk right, does it? It was a huge risk. I like I say, I put the whole thing to put myself in a situation rather than just going a bit zen and doing the 90 days and 90 meetings in 90 days and doing what is suggested and doing all of the recovery reading and all of the meditation and mindfulness and all that sort of stuff I was supposed to do. Here I was, not in recovery, still drinking alcohol, which was my harm minimisation problem, which takes me automatically out of the recovery realm. Airing my laundry publicly, putting myself at risk in that situation by having someone in the public maybe attack me or sending me sideways, putting myself in a situation where I've had another new conflict with my sister. So huge risk, but I'm what they say in rugby sometimes when you do rugby moves, high risk, high return. It looks like this one may pay off. We're not out of the woods yet, I mean, here I am literally heading in 20 minutes time to head off to what may be a new life on the Sunshine Coast, going to university, studying social work and criminology, may tie in nicely with recovery now, and the rest may be history. watch this space.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I suppose that's an important part of the story. Is it's like your question was why.
Yeah.
Why are you doing like? What didn't you tell me that you were going to do 90 minutes? When was the last time you went to NA in Joondalup or what's going on? And I was like, well, I'm not doing that, and I'm doing this. And
I was worried about the lack of structure that you came out with,
which is the big thing that they say there should be.
But you were, I'll be fine. The one thing you'll know about Dave, should be right. That's how he's lived his whole life like that. Should be right.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it this time round. I didn't believe it. But then I had no choice. I sort of had to. We'd had a conversation. We said, right, I can't deal with it anymore. In a sense of I had no more advice to give my brother. I had no more energy. All I thought was I've just got to protect mum and dad. I'll just make, when they're worried or they're concerned, I'll just talk to them and be their support and my sister's support. So I found a role to play. I felt I'd been fired, but then I had to reapply for the job and I kind of found another role to play. And I think being a middle child, to all the middle children out there, you know that you don't like to be uninvolved. You were always involved with the older and the younger and the parents. So, but look, it's almost unbelievable that that we're sitting here today having such a raw, open conversation. There are a lot of things I purposely haven't touched on at this point in time because I still feel that that there is so much more of the journey and so much more of that soul sort of healing and all of that sort of stuff. But I suppose the moral of
that's something. I think that's something. So what we can call this video is just talking about what happened.
Yeah.
That can be a really great another video that maybe you, myself, and Belinda, and maybe Mum or Dad might get involved. We can talk about what we believe that part of it is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would really appreciate that. But I think what people have got a good grasp today of is the journey.
Yeah.
How one family member's spin on it's been. And I know that. And I'm going to put up Headspace are running today's Wednesday, and tomorrow night. Headspace, one of the great resources that is out there in Australia, is running a live webinar or web chat about family conflict. And I'll plug that big time on the Recovery Now thing because I think I'm going to jump on and watch it live and I'm hoping it'll be recorded on Tribe as well. So that will be a big thing because it seems to be, from a resource perspective, that is the big thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a family that we tear out of and it's a family we return to that becomes almost Mark II of the rehab facility.
Yeah.
With untrained professionals.
Yeah.
So this is what it's about. It's about getting that family unit up to speed with the language of recovery and rehab, or even just the language of, like you said, watching someone's life fall apart with ice and not knowing what to watch for. Yeah. What are they going to say? How are they going to be? Moving target syndrome, erratic.
That's right.
The lack of sleep and all that sort of shit and what that does to people. So so that's a really important thing.
Yeah.
I think
it is, and I think there was so many. I suppose there were just so many moments once you had left rehab where I just felt like I don't know if you could take the family through it again in a sense, and I was very suspicious about David reusing. I was very suspicious, and I suppose I lost a little bit of faith in Dave because I wasn't believing things he was trying to sell so much to us. You were trying to sell us what you had just learnt, and I think you were diagnosing us all at that point in time with issues, and we were like, hands up,
and that's the thing, you take
and it was hard because we were like, hang on, we are broken, we have never ever claimed perfection, but at the end of the day, we could see that it made you feel sort of helpful. Like straight away you came out, we can't deny, and you just wanted to help people. So
I think you have 21 days in a full-time acute care facility. You come out, you're ready to not just change the world, but change me, but also give people advice about what you believe, the rehab language is, and you need to get up to speed with what I've been through, and this is what I'm doing, and it's also proving and justifying, and not justifying, but letting you know that I'm okay, and this is what I've learned. You need to learn this because I've learned. This might help with your life, or this might help with Dad's life, or Belinda, this is some great things I learned about codependency or whatever, and we need to do this together. And whereas so it's I become the quasi-professional when I'm not. So that's probably a lesson to be learned in there as well. But that's probably enough. I think we've killed it.
I think we've done a long talk. Yeah,
it's awesome. It's 40 odd minutes, and
wow, is it?
Yeah.
God.
So this will be the end of. I will cut this up into 3 parts. So that will be the end of part 3 and the last video. I hope you enjoyed part 1 and 2, part 1 will come out today. And it's been great. Thanks very much for taking a risk. Like I said, that's a massive. Professionals can't do this. That would have taken 20 takes. So that's 2 amateurs having a yarn. I think that's massive. Well done to this one because that's a huge risk. And you were the one that I fought the most with. and there's probably some family members out there thinking, oh fuck, like I'm that family member. So good luck. You know, and
hang in there, don't give up, and
absolutely.
Fucking
oath. No, that's 100% right. So thanks very much, Cath.
Pleasure.
Great to have reconnected the last 24 hours. I love you heaps. And,
love you too.
And I'm looking forward to getting up to Sunshine Coast, relaunching my life, and we all just we're not out of the woods. We know that there's lots of work. I'm about to go into recovery mode of abstinence of NA and AA meetings up there, of finding a sponsor. I can't wait to see how that goes. And I'm sure this one will be a big part of it, because that's what the goal was post-recovery, post-rehab, but it's time to do it properly. So I'm looking forward to that.
You'll be good.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Cath. Thanks, darling. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.